Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is beautiful energy, and something is letting go or being released from somebody, whoever I'm picking up on here. There's an energy of somebody is finally letting go. Now, this could go both ways. So, let's have a little lean in here and allow it to settle and integrate and permeate into different cracks of each people's beings. And a crack isn't a bad thing. Sometimes it's the deepest parts of us, but something is being broken apart. And I'm seeing Saturn's rings. Now, this is so interesting and fascinating that that's what's coming through for whoever's message this is. I'm hearing both. There's two. They're intertwined, but they're separate messages for two slightly different collectives, but on the same trajectory. So I've talked about this for a couple of months now, actually. And the imagery that keeps coming through is Saturn. One of you have actually gone to the Saturnian energy, Saturn, which is the rings of karma, and karma is neutral. It is neither good nor bad. It's simply cause and effect or action. But our actions create cycles. And when we have repeated actions, it is a continuation or a ring. It's like running rings. It becomes this cycle, and it's always associated with Saturn because astrologically, if you're to look at the planetary systems and the aspects and what the meaning of them is, Saturn is the taskmaster, my friends. Saturn is the one who says, do you really want this? Because you're going to be presented with situations and you can either enter the cycle or you can make a new choice. And a beautiful soul that I was divining with, talking with, guiding, was talking about choices being triangulations. And this is where it comes into the cycles of karma, where you could look at the triad, which is what I have always been guided by spirit to teach utilizing, is those trinities, whether it's through dimensions, whether it's through personal growth, whether it's through interdependence. All the different dynamics of life can actually be placed in a trinity. It requires three aspects, even the art of transformation, although we can move the aspects in any different way that we choose to, and what is aligned for the highest soul's evolution. I'm not really clear why I'm going on about these pieces, but I have Saturn's energy coming in loud and clear now, saying these are all pieces and parts of the puzzle, the cycle, the rings, the triangulation, the triads. Notice they are different shapes. And notice that the triangle sits in the middle of the circle or the cycle, the triangulation of choices and dynamics without transcending into that fourth dimensional aspect. To shift to a different timeline means you must make a different choice. If in the triad, in the triangulation, you do not make a new or different choice and you continue to make the same choices, whoa, this is for somebody who's already done this. This is just your confirmation and validation. I'm seeing a giant bullseye in the room, ace of spades, biggest green check mark taking up the whole thing. This is a confirmation of what you've already done, put into a different type of perception so you can truly see where you've been, what you've done, and how you've done it. It's such powerful imagery. I know in yantras, there's often the shape of the triangle, whether it's upright or inverted, masculine, feminine, or the Sri Yantra, which is those 9-dimensional aspects. There's always this circle that encompasses it. And Saturn is pointing out as the taskmaster, if you make a new choice, the new choice leads to a new cycle. And for someone on here, you have made a multitude of new choices because you had the awareness to make the new choice and you saw the contrast which allowed for that choice to occur or happen. Now, some of you, it may have happened slightly differently in that triangle. Maybe you had contrast, which was what brought the awareness, which was what spurred on a new choice. That is neither here nor there. There are different ways to move through transformation. There isn't just one linear way. So Saturn is saying that this is a confirmation for whoever this is. I'm watching you standing going to Saturn, you are bigger than Saturn. And you weren't before, they're pointing this out. Before you were smaller than Saturn, you were running around the rings of Saturn. You were running through the cycles of the triangulations until you came to a deep enough or a more expanded awareness or greater contrast, depending on which person this is for, in the dualistic natures, which allowed you to effectively empower yourself to, I'm watching you literally break the rings of Saturn. It's like Saturn is naked with no rings. And Saturn is saying that is the taskmaster. We are presented and amplified with things. When we are ready and being prepared for a new cycle, we are given the opportunity to engage in choice points that allow us to effectively break the ring and the cycle. Thus, we become naked in the Saturnian energy, naked without a ring or a cycle of what was known. And we begin to enter a new era. Venus says, whoever this message is for, Venus says, this new era, this new ring. I'm watching these flowers. It's not even like this cold, harsh ring that's smooth and just gently moves with time or continually goes without any awareness. This new cycle is blooms of flowers. It's like I'm seeing the rings upon your Saturnian energy of this new cycle. You have already begun or about to begin, or you're in the naked point right now, says Saturn. The taskmaster says somebody in here is naked. You are no longer in the cycles of the past, but you have not chosen with clarity, conviction, and deep soul awareness of your next cycle, what you choose for it to be, understanding the power of choice, and that for every choice you make, karma, cause and effect, for every cause or choice, there is an effect or a result. The result is the new cycle. And in addition, there's being shown another level of Saturn for somebody else on here. The power of choice means that you make a choice to begin a new ring of a cycle, but yours is blooming flowers, vibrancy. I'm seeing Baba Tarini as well. So that's really interesting that her energy is coming through here, but it is significant for somebody on here. Perhaps you attune to Kali, perhaps you attune to the divine goddess mother, and Venus is all that. And we are in a new moon in Taurus with Venus as its ruler. So they're showing me in this other Saturnian energy that another beautiful soul here is actually experiencing. And this too is a confirmation and a guidance for this person. It is indicating Bhavatarini is laying the rings of cycles of these beautiful flowers blooming. And the power of choice is you make a choice, and yes, you enter a new cycle, but you're on a completely different level. There is no one cycle for you that becomes the groove or the pattern. You have elevated so far beyond the basic safety, security, survival, limitations of the mind. You've evolved so far beyond those denser energies or those unconscious limitations that you understand that there is no cycle that you can be trapped in because you have the power of choice. Saturn says the taskmaster asks you this. In choosing a new choice, know it enters a new cycle or a new effect, but you have the power to understand that there is no cycle that can trap you. I need to take a breath here because it's kind of intense and I feel like it's getting heady in the chest area, not taking a deep breath. So this could be for somebody who's, spirit, why is that coming in? What's the guidance for that person? Breathless is what I'm hearing. Breathless, breathless. It's like this natural overflowing abundance that defies what we believe to be true. This message, Saturn is nodding his head. And I say his because Saturnian energy is a very masculine energy for me, whereas we're at a new moon in Taurus right now. And that's a very feminine and it's feminine fixed. So it's interesting that catch my breath, catch my breath is the song coming through. Catching your breath, understanding that the potentials and the possibilities are limitless. in your self love, your radical adoration of the self from healthy confidence rather than adoring the self as in self cherishment. That allows you to become your own taskmaster. You are your own self ruler. You become the embodiment of Saturn, both in the creator of your own cycles, your preservation of the cycles that you love. When one of the blooms on your rings of Saturn here, rings of karma, and that's good karma, right? Good karma and things that we're receiving blessings. It's the effect of all the causes that you have put out into the world tenfold, 10,000 fold being returned to you in this new cycle. You will never be trapped in these new cycles because you understand that every bloom, every choice leads to a new choice. You are no longer in the triangulation of that trinity of I make a choice and I stay on a cycle and it just runs on repeat, beep, beep. You are no longer in that. You are stepping into this beautiful new cycle where all you are doing is blooming. And I'm hearing that song, I'm in my pretty girl era. Anyways, take that as it resonates. Maybe that's a song that you vibe with. I'm seeing somebody dance around the room to it. Like it's got a big upbeat, it's powerful, it's feminine, it's the goddess. It is deep self empowerment and deep knowing. So it's an energy that's embodied. It is you, you become it. And in this cycle, this ring around Saturn, you're the creator of every flower that blooms on it. You're also the receiver of the seeds of the blessing from the bloom of every flower. And in addition, it naturally unfolds like the teachings of the path of desire as a way for self evolution or ascension or liberation. You allow one flower to bloom and you allow the seed of that flower to lead you to a new one. Whoever this message is for, you are highly intuitive. You do not follow the normal structures or societal conditionings. In fact, they are stifling to you. They literally cut off creative flow, those kinds of structures. So you may have found that you've really moved into, I'm seeing somebody painting art or creating art, moved into these realms of just freely and creatively allowing the flow to flow through you, no longer trying to align with the other structures. This message is for you, that Saturnian, where your circle or your ring of karma around Saturn, as you embody this, you recognize that you're creating it effortlessly when you're in this flow. And not only that, you get to make a new choice every single time. That's the power of choice. You're not in the new Saturnian energy where some collectives of souls are making a choice and they create a new cycle and they live out the cycle. Oh, no, 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 beautiful soul. You are here to create multitudes of new cycles. They're expanding it out multidimensionally for me now. Saturn says when you look at an individual soul's multiple incarnations and you expand out the ring that appears flat, if we were to look at astrologically or scientifically or through an astronomous lens, you would see that Saturn ring on a picture or a photo frame. Looks like it's this one ring, but we're just expanding it out multidimensionally as a metaphor to illuminate the rings of karma or cycles for a soul. They are indeed layered, but they spiral upwards. In those multidimensional cycles, one cycle is intended to lead to an opening or an evolution into another and another and another. For some souls, the evolution of this is it's naturally unfolding with grace and ease as you walk those cycles and evolve higher, expand your consciousness greater, releasing things naturally as you move along that spiral rings. Saturn says that is one way for some souls to attune to their journey. But there's another one they're showing me where the cycles are separate. Saturn says this speaks to the multiple incarnations where the spirit or the soul will take on a physical body to live out the embodiment of particular life lessons, cultures, habits, choices, and experiences and circumstances. If we were to look at the multiple incarnations of an individual soul, the circular planet of Saturn could be a representation of the whole soul, and each ring a representation of the cycles of each incarnation. This is a different way to view the cycles or the rings of karma and the Saturnian energy at this time. Each individual soul listening in this beautiful YouTube community, I'm being directed to guide or point out, lean into the imagery metaphor of whichever of these Saturnian gifts and blessings that are being given to us right now through this channel as it aligns with you. If you, as the soul and the rings, each incarnation makes the greatest sense, that is your message and is the guidance for you. If the one where it is the Saturnian cycle, that Saturn, where you've broken the old cycles in half and are naked, take that as your guidance, because that is the best guidance for your souls and what your soul asks for. I'm hearing this is what your soul asked for, and we're just sharing. Oh, this is part of this soul's particular lesson. They are learning to receive. I ask and I truly receive. You have asked, and we ask you now to receive. Receive the beautiful blessings, receive the positive effects of your causes or good karma, as some people would call it, to allow yourself to be the creator, preserver, and destroyer, to choose anew every single time with every bloom on that Saturnian cycle. They're now condensing that ring back down to just a solid context or a solid concept or idea. It is in this way that when a soul dives deeply into itself, its self awareness, and asks the most profound questions and dives into its deep self inner awareness, this is when the multitude of rings become expanded and we get to see interdimensionally what is truly happening on all levels, on all scales, in all energies, in the unseen. This is appropriate for souls that need deep meaning or are finding deep meaning in all their experiences in their life, are radically letting go. Back to the beginning of the message, says Saturn. We began this message with someone or something finally letting go. The cycle complete when all is detached from that cycle, not just the soul who detaches and evolves beyond the cycle, but so too is it also the falling away and the final letting go of all the people, places, things, emotions, circumstances, and vibrations that were attached or in alignment with that older cycle. We began with that message, and so too do we end this channel with that same message. You have broken the rings of karma, dear hearts, the rings of Saturn, karma of negativity, karma of unconsciousness, the karma of delaying things. I'm hearing this is a delayed gratification for somebody. There is a soul on here where you delayed your gratification so significantly that it spans lifetimes. So you might feel like, when is it coming? Why isn't this happening? Or you just might feel like everything is slow. Like I'm seeing a turtle right now moving super, super slow. And beside you, I see the rabbit who's like, zing. Now, this is not in the traditional story of the turtle and the rabbit that is commonly told. They say the outcomes are different. They're not the same as the traditional storytelling or the fabric of that which served a purpose. Whoever this message is for, you're either in turtle mode or you're in rabbit mode. Perhaps you go to turtle mode and then suddenly you're in rabbit mode. GUHYA Kali says this is significant because the turtle and the rabbit are actually one and the same person. This is why we do not use the traditional outcome of that story and the idea of the race of the turtle and the rabbit. Each individual soul is the turtle and the rabbit. This is a soul who divines deeply and creatively, moving with the essence and the ineffable energies through the pure soul's essence. Oh, that feels so good. Neither confirming nor denying, simply allowing to embody itself, coming into its full power, always having a power of choice, always choosing a new choice every single moment of every single day, aware that there is no entrapment in that state. There is no duality. There is simply choosing and moving and choosing and moving. You are always choosing and moving. What is also true, at times you choose to move as a turtle, slow and languid, taking your time, being in the presence, in the creative flow. But my dear, this is what allows you to suddenly shift into the rabbit, where you make great headway, great speedway, and fast, rapid movements because you have taken the time to be in the presence of the turtle, which allows, ooh, I'm seeing bullseye in the room, which allows the rabbit to take its aim, hit its mark, and get to its destination in a blink of an eye. Like most people won't even see you because they don't understand this beautiful process of who you are and how you create and how you do things. It doesn't fit in with the norm, which is, work a 9 to 5, give, and don't receive. Whoever this message is for, you are stunning, eloquent, graceful. You have such a beautiful openness to you. You are so, it's like I'm touching divinity. It's like touching divinity, where there is no rush and there is no race. There is only the natural rhythm of the individual's soul core essence. Saturn says to access the multidimensional aspects of the self gives one the ability to move as the turtle and then create rapid movement as the rabbit. This is the metaphor that is being guided for the new moon in Taurus, particularly because this is the moon of embodiment, where dreams and understandings are self confirmed, self validated, and we understand the reason that we have not been moving in the past. They're showing me the Saturn pointing out the old cycles, the ones that you've broken. You were not able to choose, therefore, you could not move. And if you are not moving, perhaps it is because you have not been choosing or recognize or had awareness of your power of choice at all given times in any given moment. When we can choose, we begin choosing and moving and choosing and moving. And you can choose to move with the turtle, or and then you can choose to move with the rabbit as the energy aligns. Again, they're expanding out those cycles, the incarnations, the rings of karma, both separately, individually, but how each of them are interconnected with you as the main ingredient, the main character of your movie, of your life, of your story. You can crash, break, destroy any cycle that doesn't serve you, but only if you know, but only if you know. And again, now you know. Now you know that you have the power of choice. Whatever is disintegrating and finally letting go is a concept or a self ideation. I'm seeing somebody pull back a mask. The idea that you had to make other people happy, the idea that, yes, you see other people's wounds and you have compassion for all the places they've been, but that doesn't mean you need to stay with the vibration or to hold up the energy or to accept that as your natural state of being. You need to move to choosing what is appropriate for you, to continue the path of self evolution for you and choosing you. Because in fulfilling that path of choosing yourself and self evolution, you become the totality and the true core essence of you, unfolded, embodied. You ascend for the purposes of allowing your higher self or your spiritual energy to descend into the physical avatar, to take up the body, to radiate outside of you. And if you continued those cycles of continuing to choose to stay in old cycles or old stories or old ideas or old disempowerment or old choices, that would mean you wouldn't be able to fulfill your own soul's essence. And if you're the main character, You need to fulfill your own soul's essence. Look at your whole life as if you were the main character. Ooh, look at your whole life as if you were the main character rather than feeling like the secondary person or the victim. Ooh, this came through as a metaphor in our spellcrafting course. And the metaphor was you're the main stage in the movie. And the guidance that had come through, and this is for all of us, every single being here, you are either in the background of somebody else's movie, or this is what the typical teaching is, or you're the main character in your own movie. Are you helping somebody else create their reality that isn't really in alignment with yours and you're the secondary character, or are you the main character? Now, I say this because some people, most people, feel like they're secondary characters in their own life. If you have felt like you're a secondary character in your own life, I need you to now switch the camera lens to perceive it or see that the lens has been on you the whole time. You felt like you were a secondary character, but you were always the main character, and the lens has always been on you. If you can take a moment to perceive it in that way, this is for somebody who's just in the process of finally letting go of their past. You will see that in perceiving yourself as the main character rather than the secondary, you come into the full screen. This puts you in your power. It allows you to see your life, see your circumstances from a completely different perspective. You've been perceiving yourself from secondary character, but the truth is you've always been the main character. There is nobody else in your life who feels what you feel inside of you. Nobody can perceive this world just as you do. The only person seeing out of your eyes is your soul and divinity. That is it. Your soul and divinity is perceiving the world through your eyes. Understand that divinities, I got my eyes on you. The divinity has its eyes on you. It always has, it always will. The world is your oyster. This is crossing so many different people's messages, and it feels so aligned in a deep resonance. Saturn says this message is complete for the ones that are able to receive what is necessary as a confirmation, validation, and activation for this new moon in embodiment, so that they may align in the mind, the emotions, and the body, and spiritually to align with a greater truth that is conducive to allowing them to embody the beautiful blooms of an entirely new cycle through the embodiment, understanding, and co-creative nature that they are always choosing and moving. Beautiful souls. This felt like such a powerful message for somebody on here. Let me know if that really spoke to you, if these are the energies you're sensing into, if it affirms something, if it's activated something that allows you to be in a more liberated sense of self. Venus says, we are here to create beauty. Divine beings, you are called to manifest the deep love within you onto the earth plane. We begin with this new moon of embodiment. Beautiful souls, I will close this channel here. I'm sending you all many moon blessings, much love. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for receiving this guidance that I am sharing and bringing through, because you asked for guidance. So please receive it. Happy new moon, folks. I will catch you on the next video.